Building in public is one of the best ways to grow your SaaS in 2025. Today I'll give you 10 examples of how to do it and how others like Adam Robinson and Marc Lou grew million-dollar companies using this method. With screenshots and exactly how you can go about it if you're an aspiring founder or an existing founder that want to leverage founder-led content as part of your strategy. Why should you build in public? Well, essentially building in public is a great way to get eyeballs on your specific SaaS. Today it's not good enough to just build a good product. You need to have distribution for it. Even though you might think you're in a blue ocean, there are always options out there. Either if you're VC funded or bootstrapped, you should start to push content both on LinkedIn, YouTube and different channels where your ideal customer might hang out. And before we jump into the screenshots and examples, I want to give you a book tip as well. And that's Steal Like an Artist. This is a great book on how to kind of take inspiration just like Pablo Picasso or an artist would. But that applies also in terms of marketing or pushing out content. Find good people that do this really well and start to copy kind of their style in the start. Structure your posts like they would, and then you would develop your own style over time. So you don't have to be perfect from the start. You don't have to have this great idea of exactly what to do from the start. You could just take inspiration of a few people that you really think do this really well. So let's jump into the first one here. The first way of how to build in public is sharing fuck-ups. So basically when things don't go as planned. This is super efficient because it shows that you're transparent and authentic, and that's something your audience will love because not everyone does this. So this will really be that kind of purple cow moment that people will stop by in their feed, take time out of their day and read. This also makes people really invested in your story and the kind of journey that you're on, which is a really big part of building in public. You want to build loyal followers and people that really are tied to your personal brand and also to your company and the product that you are building. So that's a really efficient strategy, but it definitely takes some courage. And Adam Robinson does this very well, for example. And the second one here is actually sharing the good news as well. So basically when you have some growth numbers to show, where you have some exciting news or new product release, or just winning your everyday in terms of maybe being more productive or finding a new hack to do something. People love to hear that as well, but it easily becomes kind of bloated if you just share the good stuff. So sharing the bad stuff can be really efficient too. But make sure you share when things are going well. For example, like I did here in terms of our number of events growth, which has been our kind of North Star at Univid, the SaaS I'm building. Also, for example, weekly product updates. That's a great way to keep consistent content coming. I do both these in terms of the TikTok posts or like shorts where I just film whatever I do basically every other day or every day, where I try to build in public and just share kind of product updates in terms of design. Like I made a new invite email for new users to our platform if they invite their teammates. Well, then I shared the before and after and got some input on what people thought about the update. So this can be a good way to iterate with your audience that are hopefully also your customers, and get some awesome input on the way in terms of comments and similar. So that's something you could encourage on those type of posts. Also sharing stats of people using your product can be really efficient. Well, not everyone has this data, so it can be really exclusive kind of data that, for example, Adam is really good at with Keyplay and Peer Signal. They share a lot of data around SaaS companies that is exclusive data that they have access to through their product. So they've really built this kind of motion with a newsletter and social media updates where they aggregate this data and show it in different ways. So sharing value from your product is really good as well. Personal learnings, for example, sharing a productivity hack that you learned, or just a connection to, for example, sports, or a funny post that you might have seen is like this, like, here's what it taught me about B2B sales. Well, for example, a meme like that can also be a fun way to kind of get your audience engaged and break up the feed with something fresh and new. Also think about the variety, so make sure you include different type of posts and you'll see engagement and new types of followers come in as well. But as long as they are in your ideal customer persona, of course. polls are also a great way, for example, combining those with these kind of product updates. Marc Lou does this quite well. He often shares like, here's a challenge where I pay the best video that someone creates for my product launch. He pays them $1,000. Or for example, redesigning a chart. Great way to kind of engage your followers, make people spread this, and get a lot of engagement on a post that also benefits you, both that you will get the feedback but also get the exposure, and that will help your SaaS to grow. The 7th way is to share sales and growth experiments. So I often share my formulas quite transparently. So for example, I share the Reddit playbook for B2B SaaS companies on how they can grow on Reddit. Sharing these types of updates can really position you as a thought leader and also push out really valuable content that people want to share. And that's the goal right here, that you don't want just okay content that no one will even take a look at or even upvote, but actually things that people think are so good they will save them and share to their friends. The next type of post is sharing interesting people that you meet along the way. So when building a startup or a company, you often meet a lot of people, whether it's new prospects, whether it's other startup founders and similar. And actually sharing those kind of meetings and the learnings that you get from them can also help you along the way to tap in kind of to their network, but also help them out and get exposure for both of your companies. Events that you attend is a great way to share that you are up to good things. For example, attending a SaaS conference will show that you are up to date with the latest stuff in the field, will show that you're connecting with people and in the action, so to speak. So it can also be a great way to get attention from, let's say, other attendees of that event and position you again as kind of a thought leader in the space. And the final one is beef in the industry. This is not maybe for the beginner. I haven't really done this myself, but I've seen Adam Robinson, for example, taking the step out there and doing some experimental stuff like this, where basically calling out other companies, for example, competitors that do things in a way that is a bit legacy, or just other people that have vastly different opinions. For example, should you go sales-led or should you go product-led when growing? Well, then you can make content out of that and boost both of your followings. Good or bad, but people love drama, so this works. So that was all the 10 examples of how to build in public. I've used them myself, so please go in and follow and connect with me on LinkedIn. You can also subscribe to this channel and I'll put out more videos like this coming soon. For example, how I hacked Reddit on growth to 1 million impressions, how I run B2B SaaS SEO, but also just everyday build in public type of videos. I would love to get questions and your thoughts in the comments down below. What did you think? Was this good advice? Have you seen some other good examples of how to build in public? Please feel free to share them and I'll make sure to respond, maybe put them in a future video. So thank you so much and I'll see you in the next one.